And welcome to this, question 59 from the Book of Questions. By controlling medical research funds, you are in the position to guarantee, that a cure will be found in 15 years for any disease you choose. Unfortunately, no progress on any others would be made during that period. Would you target one disease? Well, there's something in this question that says that this disease is affecting me, because that's an obvious motivation for doing this would be, oh no, I'm going to die of some hideous, agonizing disease, and I can save myself, selfishly perhaps, but I can save myself if I direct medical research towards me. No, number of reasons. One, the extreme selfishness. Two, in 15 years. No, unless I'm spectacularly mistaken, nothing is killing me at the moment. I'm not going to be dying of anything agonizing, but even if I did know that I was going to die of something agonizing, it's got to kill me in over 15 years' time. Otherwise, I won't get the benefit of this. It's got to be killing me, but not now, definitely over 15 years' time. So, no. Now, it says that I'm controlling medical research funds, which suggests to me that this is public. How could anyone control all medical research around the entire planet, totally in secret and anonymously? Surely it would come out that someone is pulling the strings, and that someone is me, in which case everyone would be knocking at my door wanting me to direct funds into their particular thing. And if I were to direct medical research funds very selfishly just for me, my goodness, the hatred, the millions of people worldwide who would be suffering and dying because of the decision that I made, my goodness, everyone would be out for my blood. I don't want half the population of the earth out for my blood. So, no, I'm not going to direct anything towards anything that's going to kill me. But I could, possibly, if I do have this power, this tremendous power, do some good with it. It would be nice to think that there's something good here. So, for instance, imagine if 4 pharmaceutical companies are all in a race to be the first to get the cure and patent it for something or other. Well, I could say, I think if just 1 or 2 of you are in that race, you all seem to be doing fine. So I think we'll be getting a cure after a bit. I'm going to put this huge amount of money that you're spending in this race for these other 2 companies onto something else. I think 2 companies are probably going to be enough. Now that might be a sensible use of the money, but I'm also interfering with the free market, aren't I? Now, of course, these pharmaceutical companies are doing this extremely expensive research because they see that there's a potential profit to be made. But there's an awful lot of potential profits in an awful lot of diseases. So I would like to think that I could do some good, but I would be interfering, and maybe that's not a good idea. The free market has come up with an awful lot of amazing cures and treatments for an awful lot of ailments. So, maybe I should just let it carry on doing that. Yes, there will be some waste, but I could also make some terrible decisions and direct research the wrong way. And who am I to say that I definitely know better than all the people who are involved in medical research? That would be unlikely. I would have to take into account quite a lot of things. One of the things would be things that are probably going to get a cure invented for them anyway. There's an awful lot of research going into that thing, whatever it is, and it looks like that if I do nothing, it's going to get cured anyway. So why interfere? So if I'm going to direct funds into something that science is going to sort out probably anyway, reasonably soon, that would seem a great waste. So I'd have to direct funds in a way that would be towards things that wouldn't otherwise get a cure because not enough research was done into them, and or it would be a particularly difficult thing, whereas other things easier. They'd get there anyway. So I'd have to factor that in. Also, I think my priority would not be saving lives, at least saving people. I wouldn't count it that way. Instead, I would think of prolonging the number of useful, healthy years. So we're all going to die eventually. If you made it to 100, something's going to kill you. And exactly what it is that finishes you off when you're 100, I don't think is that important. because if we were to cure that, then maybe you'd limp to 101 and then just die of something else instead. But things that are killing people in the peak of their health and fertility in their 20s, say, ooh, that sounds nasty, and I'd be preserving so many more years of useful and, I would hope, happy life. So I would factor in the number of years of useful, healthy years that it would prolong, rather than number of people saved from a thing. And I would do the maths. Yes, that's maths. Why do Americans say math? I don't. It's a very strange thing that in English, when we abbreviate a word like examinations, when we abbreviate it, it becomes exams. It's still plural. Telephones becomes phones. So mathematics becomes maths in British English, but for some reason the Americans say math. Never known why. It is a bit grating, but fortunately it probably doesn't matter. Anyway, I wouldn't target things that affect me. I would look out for things that are going to be cured anyway. I would go for years, not people, and I would do the sums. So what is going to save the greatest number of lives? So we have all these various things that are being researched, and we can look at the graphs for how they're getting death rates down on all those things, and I can interview all these people and say, well, let's get some experts in here and assess what are your chances of getting to a cure by such and such a time, and how many people is that going to save, or how many years of life is that going to prolong, and just do all the maths, put all the equations together, and then come up with, if there really is, and I doubt it, but if there really is one disease that is going to do the whole world so much more good, if that one thing gets cured in 15 years' time, that's quite a while, then okay. However, I really doubt that, because there are an awful lot of ailments in this world. Now, another issue here is, what exactly is a disease anyway? In the mind of the typical layman, it's something you can catch off someone. You catch diphtheria, you catch cholera, you get a bacterium or a virus in your system, and eek, that is a disease that has a name, like typhus or whatever. But actually, to a medically trained person, the word disease is much vaguer. Anything which is just not as we feel it ought to be is disease. If you break your leg, then you have a diseased leg. You have a leg that's in need of treatment. But surely that's an injury. People don't think of a broken leg as having a disease. But actually, anything that's just up with you, including mental things, is, in the technical medical jargon, a disease. And so you get people throwing it wider and wider and wider, and saying that something like obesity is a disease. Well, yeah, if you don't want to be fat and you are very fat, then okay, you could say that is a disease. Only it's a disease caused by a behavior, which is eating an awful lot of food. So you could just say, well, the cure for being very, very fat is not eating an awful lot of food. But then someone comes along and says, no, that's not the disease. No, it's not the eating the large, it's their inability to stop eating large amounts of food. That's the real disease. You see, it's a mental thing. Well, okay, but taking the same logic, that means that unhappiness is a disease. And I've heard people describe unhappiness as a disease. But imagine for a moment the ghastly dystopia were someone like me to get in control of the world's medical research funding and put everything into coming up with a cure, some pharmaceutical cure, a pill, an injection, a suppository, I don't know, a cure for unhappiness. Are you sure that's what the world wants? Imagine you take some pill and you're then incapable of being unhappy. You've been cured of unhappiness itself. And if you don't turn up to work today, yeah, you might get the sack, but it doesn't matter, because you're not going to be made unhappy by it. It doesn't matter what you do anymore. All consequences have been removed. The entire world now lives in a consequence-free world. They're going to be happy no matter what. Oh, whoa, no. That's not going to work. Unhappiness is there for a reason. Pain is there for a reason. These things stop us making extremely bad decisions. So no, I'm not going to be curing unhappiness. Even if you call that a disease, I'm not going to be curing that. I would do the maths, and if it really came, if after, I'd have to consult an awful lot of experts and say, are we absolutely sure that this maths is correct? I would be very surprised. But if it really could be shown that the total amount of good done would be greater, then yes, I'd do it. But I really doubt that. I think what I would do is just leave everything as it is.